All right, I'll start now. I've actually just started the recording for those who may miss out. So, welcome everybody today. I'll just start with the acknowledgement of country as normal. I like to share my PowerPoint file. Okay. Let me know when that comes up.
Yep.
Okay, I'll put the pretty slide on. Okay. We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connections to land, waters and culture, and we pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and to any Aboriginal colleagues joining us here today. Now, I wanted to just clarify whether I should do that each time, because I know that if we overdo the acknowledgement to country, it's just like a process that we follow, and I just don't want it to be that. So, just as a bit of an icebreaker, I'll get you guys to just type in the chat pod, what country are you joining from? And I'll just stop sharing my screen now. So while you're typing in the chat pod, I'm just going to talk through what we went through last week. We went through an overview of the Moodle platform, and we discussed how the units are set up. We talked about editing our profile, and we talked about how different the skills point products are compared to our legacy products, and we examined at the difference between the two and how we support the skills points products only in the implement stage. We provide feedback to get the product built, and we provide feedback after we've actually delivered the product, but our real support is in the implementation, so making sure our teachers have the Moodle skills and know how to facilitate in the platform. So that's just one small chunk of the skills points products, but this is more about Moodle as a whole, and so we're supporting our skills teams that are using the legacy products. So that includes the whole of the Moodle product lifecycle. So that's the build and the deliver and the evaluate. Okay, so today I'm just going to share my screen and talk a little bit and show you through the program, and then I'll run you through a presentation on how to add activities to your sandpit if you choose to operate in a sandpit. So I'm just going to share my desktop. Let me know when that comes up for you. I actually had to shut my whole computer down because I must have had too much open, and my last Skype session froze, so I was a bit worried about this session. Okay, excellent. Thanks, Deb. Okay, so those of you who have enrolled in the program, congratulations. Well done. Now, just to walk you through it, we've got an overview tab, and we've got just a little bit of a blurb. But at this point, I'd just like to confirm with everybody that this resource and the program, it is contextualised to North Region Moodle platforms only, and everyone was aware of that last week. I just also wanted to just acknowledge that if you're supporting colleagues in your region that don't have any Moodle skills at all, there has been some concern that if they do this Moodle training or program or collaboration, whatever you want to call it, that they might get a little bit confused when they're operating in their own platform. So I can see the participants here so far are all Moodle people, like our colleagues from other regions. So with the sandpit activities, you're most welcome to play with the sandpit in North Region Moodle, or you can actually request a clone of the sandpit and do the Moodle sandpit activities in your own region. The only issue we might have with that is you have to put a ServiceNow ticket in, so you might get in a very big line. So to keep the momentum of this program and to sort of get it happening now, I have actually created a whole heap of clones ready to just issue, and I'll be issuing them this afternoon. And if you like, you can join up together and work together in a sandpit site, so you can test it yourselves amongst each other, which is a great idea. And you can also choose another colleague in the program that you don't know and invite them to an activity in your sandpit once it's built. So it's a great way to just get to know each other and play around, and it's good because we're experiencing what our teachers experience when they get a course shell and go, here you go, off you go and run with it. And 9 times out of 10, you know, if that's the case, our teachers are Googling how to use Moodle, and they're sort of getting resources from here, there and everywhere. So I think that any skills that you do learn in a Moodle platform can be transferable to other platforms. The layout and the skin might look a little bit different, but Moodle is basically Moodle. Okay, so the first, in the capability program, there is an activity progress bar up to the right, and you can see that parts of it are green. That's just from me clicking around. I'm logged in as myself, which I've got administration rights to this platform at the moment. That may change. I know it will change in the future. So sometimes when I'm showing you things, it might look a little bit differently. Like I've got a lot of options in my administration block. So you can click on any of the activities. These are just suggested activities at any time, and you can use it as a progress. But all of the skills points products come with that activity progress bar, so it's really helpful for us to know how that works and how that functions. What else we got here? We've got a before you begin section, which is classic to a skills point product as well. So before you begin any course, you need to acknowledge the course program and the assessment requirements of the course. So I've sort of replicated that experience by adding in a choice activity here. So I'll click on that, and I've sort of made it a bit clever or tricky, so that I've locked off all of the tabs, and you have to download the program and then select yes. So read the program and understand what the program is before you actually agree to the terms and conditions, which there are none. But it's just that experience going through. So there's the schedule, and then you click yes and then continue. From an administration point of view, I could click on here. I can see I've got 10 responses, so I can see who has actually got access to all of the tabs and all of the content so far. So we've got 11 here. Okay, so I'll go back to a lot of the pages. I've actually added in a link to return back to the page, just to hopefully make it a little bit more seamless. Okay, so this week we're concentrating on the plan tab. So there's a couple of resources just for your information. It's just something that I've thrown together very quickly, and it's only from my point of view. This hasn't been quality assured by anyone. So the first activity is a forum discussion icebreaker. So we'll click on start, and you can see that we've already had quite a bit of activity here. So that's fantastic. And all of that activity has occurred today. So I haven't responded to everyone yet. I have to BA up here. So I'll do that over the next few days. Like I said, you will notice a little button up the top. It says continue, and when you hover over it, I've added in alternate text, and it says click here to continue. So that's good learning design. So I'm trying to demonstrate best practice. So activity 2 is design Moodle course for blended delivery. Okay, so first of all, when your skills teams come to you and they ask you for a Moodle presence or a Moodle course, you need to gauge, are they ready? Do they have the skills? Do they know what they want to put online? I'm yet to develop any capability tool. I know Linda has got one, or Denise has got one in South they use just to gauge the teaching section, and if they've had any experience in Moodle, can they edit and upload, and have they ever facilitated in a Moodle platform? So I'm yet to do that. It would be great if we could perhaps develop one as part of this working group. But I've got in here, so the activities instructions are: choose a unit from a qualification that you would think that would suit the self-directed learning component in Moodle. So you can select a unit that you're working very closely with at the moment, or you can simply just choose a topic like make a cup of coffee, or make a cheese platter or whatever. Okay. We did plan that in Sydney, but competing projects took over. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Julie. And Karen, Sydney has some consultation questions for teachers to consider before going online. Excellent. Okay. Would be great to have a look at that. Okay, so then you download your Blended to Learning design sheet, and this is a document upload activity, so that you can experience what the students experience when they actually go to submit an assessment. So the document is segregated into 4 components. It's just got, what is your learning object? What do the students need to learn in self-directed activities? The teaching and learning activities in Moodle that will support each objective. So you might select a forum because you want to get some discussion happening and some collaboration. You might want them to do an upload activity like we're demonstrating now, or you might want them just to do some research and report back to the group, or watch a video, or lots of different things that you can do in Moodle. And then you've got to think about ways of assessing or monitoring the progress of that activity in that self-directed part of the Moodle. So remember, we can use the Moodle in our face-to-face delivery if the teacher's got it up on the board, or if we've got a group of students in the classroom and the teacher's just walking behind and checking everyone's progress. But in our TAS document now, we've got self-directed learning component, and that must be evidenced by some way of tracking progress, and the Moodle Learner Management System is perfect for that particular task. So when you're suggesting the types of activities to your teaching staff, you need to be having those discussions about how the teacher is going to actually monitor the progress of that, and also ways to ensure successful participation in each activity. So that will come down to your facilitation techniques, and how you engage your learners. Okay, so that's just a simple design sheet. It's a tool. I copied it from another similar tool, so it's not completely mine, but I've edited it to suit this program. So you download it, you save it, you complete it, and then you upload it here, and look at that. I have actually got 3 submitted, and I didn't even realize it. I've been a Slack facilitator. Okay, so I'll go in and have a look at that a bit later. And then there's some instructions on how to request a Moodle sandpit. So you just follow those instructions, and I've also embedded that video thanks to Julie Taylor here. Julie gave me the code for this video, and I thought that was just perfect for this course. So you can have a look at that, and Julie takes you through how to request a Moodle site. And I love it, Julie, because even though you're talking about Western Sydney, you're talking about just Moodle courses in general. You're not talking about Skills Points products. So it's a really good demonstration of how to do that. Okay, so I'll go back to the tab. So there's 3 activities. So you request a sandpit, and the sandpit looks like this. Okay, so it looks quite bare to begin with. When you get your sandpit, I'll give you editing teacher rights, and then you can go in, and the first thing you need to do is turn editing on. And when you turn editing on, you'll get all of these little edit icons. And when you hover over anything on this page, you can see the whole thing turns grey. That's so that you know what you're editing. In previous versions of Moodle, that didn't happen. And so you would have to look over here and just sort of try and line up what you were editing. And sometimes that didn't work out. In this sandpit, Darren Edwards was kind enough. He gave me some code, and it allowed me to insert these collapsible widgets, which replicates that skills point experience as well. So I've grabbed and copied the wording out of what will I learn, the recognition, how do I get help, how will I be assessed, and of course we've got the before you begin, confirm your understanding of the unit assessment guide. So you can go in here, click on edit, and then you can actually delete all of this information. Yes, I certainly can, Julie, share that code. As you know, any Moodle person or anyone who's used HTML code in the past with accordion widgets, they can be really tricky. So you just have to make sure that you're only editing the content, not actually the heading. If you delete that heading, it'll take the code and the label will just stay there open on the page, which is okay too. That's fine. So it doesn't matter. Don't worry about your sandpit. You can break it and it doesn't matter. So you edit the information. By editing the information, sorry, I'll go back there. You're actually learning how to use these editing tools. So you might have noticed before I grabbed the corner of this text box and I dragged it down. So you've got a little dotted triangle in the corner and you just drag it down so that you can see all of the content on the page. If you're making small edits here, that's fine. But if you're editing a page, a really long page, you can then open up this page by clicking on the hamburger in the top left-hand corner, and then you've got a whole other 2 rows of editing tools. And this tool here, it's called toggle full screen mode. Then you can add lots more in here. You can add pictures and embed videos and add a lot of text. We try and avoid too much scroll in a learning design. That's why it's sort of nice in a widget as well. So to close the full screen, you click on that and then it goes back here, and then save and return to course. Okay, so the instructions are, I think it's add some information about your course. Then in the lessons tab, I've just put a couple of test things in there. I've put 2 labels. instructions and learning activities. They're those widgets as well. And then I've put a test page. I've uploaded a resource. I've added a Moodle book, a forum, and an upload activity. Now you can edit those activities, or you can add your own in there. Okay. So that's what a sandpit looks like, and you'll all get access to that this afternoon if you would like. I have added in the lesson progress and assessment progress. So when you've got editing teacher rights, you can go in here and you click on the edit icon of a progress block, and you click on configure lesson progress block. And here you can select all of the activities that you want to populate in that progress bar. So you can see that I don't have the choice activity in that lesson progress bar, because the choice activity for the confirming your understanding of the unit assessment guide doesn't belong in a lesson progress bar. Only the resources belong in the lesson progress bar. So I've got the test page, yes. I've got the learner guide, yes. Moodle book, yes. Forum. So you can uncheck all of those and start again. But I usually configure the progress bar right at the very end after I've done all my development. So please note, for anybody working in any version higher than 3.1, this screen looks differently. So those of you who are Moodlers in this session would know that this would look a little bit differently in something in a version higher than 3.1. So I'll just save those changes. And when you hover over each of the bars in the progress bar, you can see what has been included in the lesson progress, and then in the assessment progress we've got the confirmation of your understanding. Then we've got assessment 1, assessment 2, and assessment 3. So click on the assessment tab, and all of those things should be sitting in the assessment tab. Okay, so go back to the Moodle capability program. So you can click around here and have a little look at anything you want. And then there's additional resources. So I was able to replicate the South Region Essential Staff Training, which Linda so willingly shared with us, which is fantastic. So Denise, you'd be very familiar with that. So it's good to see what's happening in other people's platforms, as well as far as that system support or self-help options. So at the bottom of every tab here, I've got a section called On the Job. So I'm trying to also replicate what we best practice as far as the delivery schedule. So to include some instructions on what do I want you guys to go away and think about on the job as part of building your awareness and Moodle capability. So I've added in this little icon, which is the book. So this is all optional, of course. So find out your skills team's courses in Moodle. And are there any Moodle champions in the section? So the instructions are: use the skills team Moodle tracking sheet. I'll click on that in a minute. Oh, there's a typo there. As a tool to discover and record pockets of excellence or areas needing support in Moodle delivery. So be discreet in your research, as you are just on an awareness raising exercise for the moment. So we want to acknowledge that our head teachers and our teachers are, flooded with a lot of information at the moment, and we don't want to go in there and put them off track with anything. But if you could do some research, and this Moodle tracking sheet I've actually uploaded to the North Dip SharePoint site. So I'm going to put the template that I used for this. So you can type in the section, the course code, the type of Moodle use. I've added in, sorry, I'll edit this in Excel. So you can see there's a couple of drop downs. I thought it was important to acknowledge the types of Moodle use. So if I click on this drop down here, so some sections use Moodle just for a resource repository only. So they just put all of their links, their workbooks, and anything that is important to the teaching section and to the students, something that the students can have access to outside of the classroom. Some sections only use it as a resource repository only. Some sections use it as assessment submission only. Some do resources and assessment. Some have used, they've got well-developed content in HTML format, in Moodle books, and Moodle pages, and they've got assessment to go with that. That is usually like a fully online developed course, and anything with just well-developed content and no assessment. So there's 5 categories there that you can select, and then the required logons, which means how often do they ask their students to log in. So if it's an assessment resource only, that would be roughly medium logins. If it's highly developed and used for assessment, so they would expect their students to deliver or log in a lot of times. So that, to me, it's an awareness raising exercise so that you can see how well they work. Usually those ones that are high functioning in Moodle are quite self-sufficient. It's just those ones that are new to Moodle, or those that used to have a Moodle champion in their section, and then all of a sudden they're gone, and the sections, no one's owning it. Usually the best I've seen, the best use of Moodle platform in the sections has been where they've had just a person just take the reins and own the process and coordinate it for the section. Because it does take a fair bit of coordination, as you know. So it's also really good to identify those types of people, and the sections are really lucky to have those people. And I am reluctant to call them Moodle champions because there is not an actual role, a job description that says Moodle champion. So we don't want to try and sort of ask those people that are highly skilled in Moodle, yeah, they can be a hero, to feel obligated to help others. But it's also good just to sort of set people up so that they can support each other if they have that capacity to. Okay, so I'll click on that continue. So throughout all of the tabs, we've got an on-the-job sort of little question. So if you wanted to discuss what you're doing out there on the job, I've created a general discussion forum. I might turn editing off because it just makes the page look a bit confusing. General discussion forum. And that is to be used for any comments on current issues, program content, and self-reflection discussion or anything on the job. And that I've just created the group DIP team August 2019. So that's all of us all in together. In the program, if you've downloaded it, I'll just open the program up. There's also some self-reflection questions. You can tell I've been conducting DVCC training. So self-reflection, it's just something to think about. So this is like an example of a delivery, well, it is a delivery schedule, but it's got session content and activities. So throughout each session, I'll introduce the activities. Then the self-directed part of that is to actually complete the activities at your own leisure, complete the on-the-job section, and then also self-reflection. Revise resources in Moodle capability. Prepare any questions for the next session by posting in the course forum. Yeah, I think that too, Karen. Sorry, I haven't been reading the chat pod very much, just every now and then, because I just wanted to get through what I need to do. Okay, and I'll go back to overview. Okay, so I'll just pause here and open up the floor to anybody. Does anybody want to comment or have a question or say anything? And then I'll just upload a presentation and go through that, and then we're pretty much done for this session.
Hi Leslie, it's Julie.
Hi Julie.
Hi. Just wanted to say great program, and yeah, really quite clear instructions as well. Even though the Moodles are kind of different, like at the moment we don't have the activity progress bar in Sydney and so on, I think it really is something we can still work around, even though it doesn't look identical. So yeah, and we were trying to get it as a group in Sydney to go through this course together, but yeah, unfortunately we don't seem to have much time for that. Yeah, but we've also got Kaltura, which is a video creation tool that's embedded in our Sydney Moodle. Trying to renew that license, but maybe we can take that offline somewhere.
Yeah, okay,
great. That.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Video capture's good. You do that well.
So I thought I'd put that in there. Maybe, yeah, we can have a meeting about it on Friday, maybe.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Leslie.
No worries. Thanks, Julie.
Leslie, it's Deb. Just a quick question.
Yep.
So this is my first session. Sorry, I missed the last one. With the sand pits, once you give us a sand pit each, so we really can't break it.
No, you can't.
We can go in there and just go crazy, and that's okay. And we're not going to create any nightmares for you or for anyone else.
No.
Great. All right. That's very reassuring.
Leslie, it's Phil here on the same topic. Is it the same, as an example, you gave us some sandpits for an earlier thing we were trying last year. Is it the same sandpit?
No,
if we request it?
Different one. So you'll have two.
I always wanted I wanted a foot in each sandpit. Just because, again, I was away last week, similar to Deb, and I've just managed to sort of enroll in the process while we were talking, so a little bit scrambled head, but pretty clear on where you're up to with things. The process of getting the sandpit, is that in the first module to?
Yeah, it is. I will send an email just to let everyone know if you want a sandpit, just reply email, and I'll just give you one.
Can you do that with Peace on Earth as well? That would be really good.
Yep, sure can.
Thanks. I'll just request that when the email comes.
Okay, no worries. And yeah, so if you need any help, I'm limited with my time at the moment, but if you send me an email with a question, I am trying to dedicate Friday to just looking and in this and responding to forum posts and just having a little sneak peek in everyone's sandpit. But you know, it's really it's self-directed. It's up to you guys how much you want to do. It's really optional. It's, you know, it's not a full-on program, but I'm hoping that we could perhaps clone this and you guys could use this with your teaching sections if they want to get a Moodle presence, but we'll see how we go there. at the moment we're just wanting to upskill fellow STEs so that we can go into the section with a little bit of knowledge on what they come up against and their hurdles, and just it's quite a big leap going from not having a Moodle platform to a Moodle platform, or a complex setup to not having that person maintaining that platform for you. But yeah, so it's all really, really different. But if we complete that tracking sort of sheet for each region, then within your region, throughout your skills team, roughly what areas need the most support, and then you can support the blended delivery support team in that conversation with your skills team. You can facilitate that conversation, and throughout that interaction you will learn more and more about Moodle, because we're going to learn from the blended delivery support team, because they know what their intentions are for the skills points products. And as far as I'm concerned, I think everything moving forward should go in that direction of that intention of the skills points product, so that same look and feel, and just a basic Moodle platform, unless of course the section can employ someone to just run with it. But from a STE's point of view, we don't have the capacity to support this in a technical sense. We're coming at it from think about your activity, what are your instructions, how are you going to monitor progress, and we're sort of ticking that box in the TAS to say that this is evidence of participation for that self-directed learning. Okay. So I'll just, we're sort of running out of time, but I'll just quickly whiz through a presentation that I've uploaded here, and it's about adding an activity or resource. I was sort of showing you a few things there. Okay, so this is Moodle 3.1 and 3.5 again. Add an activity or resource. So there's two screen dumps there, one's in iTAFE, one's in North Coast. When you got editing teacher access, you will have a button that says turn editing on. You will always find that in your administration block. So click on there. Once you turn editing on, all of these little edit icons will appear. They're all highlighted in red. Now there is, you can have an activity chooser. You can add an activity or resource, have the chooser on. I prefer this method, which is on the left-hand side of this screen, as opposed to chooser off. With the activity chooser on, I think that is default in most platforms, but just in case you come up against that, know that you've got that option. When it's on, it gives you a really detailed view of all of your different activities. So each platform would have a different list of activities. Like Julie mentioned, that she's got Camtasia, is it? Is that linked into this section, Julie?
No, we don't have Camtasia, we have Kaltura.
Oh, I knew it was something.
It's another video creation. But I think Phil and Richard have Camtasia, and I've heard about its use in Moodle. Yeah, so video creation tools, yep. And we've got it sitting in there in Sydney Moodle, we've got it sitting in there as an activity. So if we have videos, we can put them in there, and then we can pull them directly from a media gallery and make playlists and quizzes and stuff. So yeah, we can have a chat.
Good. I can't wait for access to Stream in Microsoft. I've been wanting that for a little while, so that we can put it like larger videos and just stream it straight from that.
Yeah, Stream seems quite good too. Not really so much for creating a video, more for like an archiving, like a
streaming site.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so when you click on any of the activities on the left-hand side, A description of those activities will appear on the right. So, like I said, you can't break your site, so if you want, you can add all of them one at a time just to learn about them, but we don't generally use all of them. And if you want more help, you click on the more help down the bottom. Here are the ones that we generally use a lot of. So you can see that these are the activities on the left and the resources are on the right. So we've got assignment upload, forum, quiz, a choice activity, and there's a feedback activity. So it's a good idea to become familiar with the Moodle icons. These are standard out of the box. I haven't seen them change in years, so that's a good thing for each. Actually, I have seen the forum one change slightly, but if you're working in different platforms, that's okay. The resources are, you can upload a file, which could be a PDF file or a workbook, activity book. You can upload a folder, which is almost like a zip folder. So if you've got like a number of files within that folder, you can just upload the whole folder. The book, it has chapters, so it can be like chunked content. Books are really great. In the books that I've included in the capability program, I've added in that next button or that back button, or continue I called it. I couldn't decide what to call it, but I ended up calling it continue. You can add in click view videos, a label which is just dumping information on the page. A Moodle page opens up in a different page. It can open up in a pop-up, and links to URLs. The other thing that I haven't included on this page is you can link directly to Aquella, which is the learning bank. So a lot of sections or particular regions actually have traditionally uploaded to the learning bank more than others. I must say I haven't ever loaded anything to the learning bank, so I wouldn't even know how to do it, but I do go searching in the learning bank if I'm like looking for something and I can't find it. So you can link to any of the skills points assessment. That's how they do it through this, or you can embed them. Okay, I'll just quickly go through it. So the benefits are you can track progress, create interactive content with built-in feedback. You can create a learning path through the instructional design for the learner when they're outside of the classroom. That's if they're, good at reading and that this style suits them. You can conduct learning and assessment events in the Moodle platform. I did go through this, how to edit a label, and this is the text editor, and we can resize the screen by that bottom left-hand tag, I think it's called. I'm not sure what it's called. And we can toggle full screen and toggle back. And we use the little hamburger up the top left to expand the toolbar, and there's lots of tools there we can use, like bold and italics and dot points and numbered dot points. We can use the links, we can unbreak links, we can insert pictures, change the font, size and colour, we can add tables. However, you do need to become familiar with a text editor in Moodle because it does behave differently to other text editors, and tables can be a little bit tricky, but that's okay. You can have fun playing with that. And if you are a coder, the little two arrows that are pointing opposite each other in between the font size and the binoculars there, you can embed videos and embed pictures and content by manipulating that code. Okay, and to move a resource, when you've got editing on, you can pick up one of these little 4 pointed arrows and move it up or down. So that's good if you've got, if you want to sequence the activities for the student, so you can label them activity 1 or step 1. You can have your instruction in your label on how you want the participants to interact with the links below, and then you can just move them around according to the sequence. There is another way that you can move content on a page. If you double click on an arrow, you can actually move it by clicking on a link over to the right, and that's it. Okay, great. I think we're got 10 minutes to go. I know everyone's super duper busy, so I will send links to, I'll put out an offer of a sandpit, and those who respond, I will issue sandpits. If you want to share a sandpit with a colleague or somebody from another region, please do. But I think it would be fantastic if we go into the group discussions and the other forum on, there's an activity 1 forum icebreaker, on what do you want to get out of this program, some things to consider with our current situation of massive change in, the online Moodle space, moving towards skills points products. And also, I just wanted to let you know that we've got a guest presenter next week. I just want to, I'm trying to be tricky here. I'm just sharing a PowerPoint again. Let me know when you can see it. That's a clue. Can anyone tell me who's coming to have a chat next week?
Blended delivery support officer. I like it.
I thought
it was Richard Simmons.
He's still about.
Yeah, that's the little icon that represents the blended delivery support. So Darren Edwards is he's agreed. He's a very busy man, and he got back to me this morning, so I was pretty happy with it.
I think by the looks of his icons
there,
it's not bad. There's some good things. There's Adobe Premiere, if anyone's interested in that video editing stuff, if that's actually part of the suite we can use, that's very high-powered.
Yeah, I guess. I think the main part there is just the blend.
False advertising.
You've got Moodle and Adobe Connect and Aquella.
God, I'd rather have one.
There's even
and Leslie, you might need to raise a ticket now to get the blended team.
Yeah.
Just a joke. So many tickets you have to raise.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
that's a side issue.
It is, but we'll get better at educating our teams on how to, what information needs to go in a ticket so that they can be actioned quickly and effectively as well. So that concludes our session today. So thanks everyone.
Thanks, Leslie.
Thank you, Leslie.
No
You're
worries.
awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so
Sorry
much.
about that, but
Thank you.
thank you. Have a great afternoon.
You too, Leslie. Thank you.
Thanks, Leslie. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, Leslie. Bye.